Brought to you by our sponsors: William Richmond Inc., Farmers Home and Auto Insurance, the Bob Koski Agency, R.E. Graves Heating and Air Conditioning, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, McNeil's Group Properties, the Charleston Senior Community, and Chesapeake's Bounty. Now, here's forecaster John Bordash with a live forecast update.
Good evening, I'm forecaster John Bordash with you this evening here in the Storm Center, looking over the latest information, forming my final call forecast. This is going to be a very interesting and really hard to forecast dynamic ahead of the storm, just because so many different variables are going to be at play with this forecast. As we get right into everything, we're going to be looking at this storm to pass to our south and east. As it does so, it will begin to wrap in some colder air, and that will lead to snow breaking out on the northwest edge of the system. Where exactly that snow sets up is still in question, because that is very dependent on where the storm does end up tracking. If it tracks just 10 to 15 miles to the north and west, you can take that rain snow line 15 miles to the north and west as well, and that would give us a mainly rain situation. But if this storm is able to stay to the south and east, that would allow for colder air to remain in our region. That rain snow line could stay to the south, and we could be looking at bands of heavy snow trying to set up across our region. We will not have a good handle on this type of situation, though, until it's actually happening, just because of the weird dynamics that are going to be at play with this storm. Again, if it's further north and west, scenario 1, that rain snow line will be across our region and heavy snow will be well to the northwest. However, that south and east track would allow for that heavy snow to try to center on our region as that rain snow line stays further down to the south and east. We do currently have winter storm warnings in effect for much of the I-95 corridor. Locally, this includes Anne Arundel, Charles, PG, and King George counties. And for Calvert, St. Mary's, and Westmoreland counties, this is a winter weather advisory. The distinction between the two is the confidence in seeing high snow totals. The highest totals will probably be in those pink counties, but we have a lot of questions about our local forecast because it really could go either way. The National Weather Service right now, at least, is erring on the side of just being safe and just issuing winter weather advisories. But if this storm does stay to the south and east, I could very easily see these warnings getting pulled further to the south and east later on this evening. But that's going to be something we need to watch. I expect this snow to probably start around midnight or so, probably at the later edge of these time ranges, so between about midnight and 3 o'clock for much of the region. And it will probably start likely as a period of rain. That could go on for about an hour or two. And then as temperatures cool, we'll see probably a transition over to snow. That's going to be the most likely the further north and west you head. Across southern portions of Calvert County and St. Mary's County, it's going to be dependent on getting heavier precipitation rates across our area. If that is able to happen, that's going to help to bring down colder air, and that's going to help to cool down the temperatures even quicker than what would normally happen. So we're going to need to see some heavier precipitation rates. And this system will be producing some heavy precipitation. The question is it set up in our region, or is it to the north and west of us, up towards the DC metro area? My snowfall forecast right now does paint a wide stripe of 3 to 6 inches through portions of northern Charles County, northern Calvert County, through PG, Anne Arundel points north and west, right up along I-95. Many in this area will probably see more like 3 to 4, but there will be a couple of isolated locations that are closer to 5 and 6, and that will be dependent on that band of heavier snow that will definitely set up, but where exactly will it set up? And it's too difficult to try to pinpoint one specific location because these storms are very finicky, and it's going to be something that needs to be watched. I have 1 to 3 on either side of that, including for much of southern Maryland. If this system is colder, we're going to be on the higher end of that. If it's not as cold and we see more rain mixing, we will definitely be on the lower side of those totals. Locally, I'm thinking probably 1 to 3 from about St. Leonard over to about Morganza, Hollywood, Point, south and east. Probably about 2 to 4 right up along Route 231 where the Benedict Bridge is into the north and west of there. It's going to be more like 3 to 5. Again, you could very well be on the lower end of these ranges if the storm is a little warmer. If we do see those heavier bands of snow set up, especially in our region, we could definitely be on the higher side of that, and it's going to need to be something that's watched as we head forward into this evening and into tomorrow morning. There are 2 areas I'm really looking at for the potential for a boom or a bust, either higher than expected snow totals or lower than expected snow totals. And it's going to be for 2 different reasons. To the northwest of DC, this potentially could happen if we see the storm shift to the south and east, which would kind of rob these areas of moisture, and they might not see that 3 to 6. They can maybe see more like 1 to 3. Now, if the storm is definitely to the north and west, this could be the region that does see the highest snow totals. Then across our region, area number 2, our forecast is very uncertain. Right now, the forecast is 1 to 3. We could see more snow than that, though, if those heavier bands set up and that rain snow line is to the south and east. So our totals could be underdone, and we could see more than what I'm predicting. However, if this storm does indeed trend to the north and west, it's going to bring in more rain to the region, and you will see nowhere close to 3 inches. You'll see closer to 1. So these are going to be the regions I'm watching tomorrow, and of course, that does include much of our local coverage area. And really, to paint this down, the latest run of Futurecast displays that rain snow line setting up to our south. But you can see if we shift that to the north and west by 10 to 20 miles or to the south and east by 10 to 20 miles, it will make a huge difference. That heavy band of snow will set up on the other side of that rain snow line. So if it's to our south, that would put it across our region and we could see more snow. But if that's to the north and west, that's not going to happen. And we would see that heavier band set up closer to DC than down here towards Leonardtown or Lesby. So it's going to be something that we're watching, and that's why this forecast is so dependent on that. But to give you kind of an overall timeline of what it is I'm looking at, the snow likely starts probably around midnight, and it could be its heaviest between 4 and 10. The storm is warmer, though it will not be that heavy, and we're going to be talking about more rain. That's why that rain bar is lit up for you. Wind gusts will be under 10 miles per hour with this, so I'm not too worried about power outage threats or anything of the sort, but travel difficulties do look likely for at least tomorrow morning. However, if we have heavier snow that moves in and we see it accumulate on the roads, those impacts will linger into the evening and potentially into Monday. But that part of the forecast is going to be very dependent on what actually happens. So stay tuned. I will continue to keep you updated here on Facebook, here on Twitter, or on YouTube, and on the website, and give you the latest information. My final call forecast is shown here in the description, so make sure you click over on that and you can get the full story and you can really understand where my forecast is coming from. In the meantime, though, keep it tuned right here to JB Weather, and I'll continue to keep you ahead of the storm. Have a nice and safe one, and keep it tuned right here to JB Weather.